Hi, it's Angie, and it's April 5th, 2026. I've been up for probably maybe 30 minutes. I was woke up to a understanding of what is going on in my life, and I went outside to give thanks, to connect, to ground, for the understanding, to ground me, because this is really deep and it's not been pleasant, but it's been necessary. I don't know why I'm whispering. Nobody's here but my animals. Okay, so this is about my life, but I do believe there's other people out there. This is a culmination of lives that have gone on before me, of husbands and wives, marriages, empty marriages that have been going around a vicious cycle, trying to make each other happy by being something that they're not, or not. That's it's as if you take all these parts of you that you love. Imagine a pie. And in that pie, there's supposed to be, okay, so we'll say 8 pieces. But in order to make a perfect union with this person, you got to take part of yourself out and you replace it with part of them. And then you try to mesh that together. And in my family, we've done that over and over again for a period of 30 plus years. Now, some instances, the spouse dies and leaves a big, big burden on the other one. Or the spouse dies and the laws, the way they were, if it was the husband that died, the wife, she was a child, basically. Everything went to the oldest son, and then he dictated what happened to the mother. And then, things started changing. So when that didn't happen anymore, marriage would split and bitterness would happen and strife and destruction. And then the parents would go, it's like that story in the Bible where there was one baby and 2 women, and one woman wanted the baby to be cut in half, and one woman just said, no, let her have the baby. We've never done that in our family. We've always cut the baby in half, meaning the family, meaning the heart. I realized this morning, it took 2 people to make a marriage that didn't work, not one. There's 2 sides to every story. Doesn't matter what they are. The bottom line is it didn't work and they're not happy. They don't have joy. If you look at their life, they've had periods of it. I'll speak for mine and my ancestors that I know that have come to me and told me thank you. For trying. They wanted me to succeed in this, and I've still got a long way as it looks on paper, but really it's not. It's one decision. And that decision leads to another decision, and that decision leads to another decision. But in this one, there's 30 years plus of marriage. And I watched my grandparents destroy each other. My grandfather, by the life he lived, it destroyed his children, because my grandmother, who was bitter and full of strife, but it was pain, it was fear, it was anger. How could you spend that time with me like that and pretend like you love me? It wasn't pretending. There is the pie. Let's go back to the pie. When you mesh 4 pieces of one self and 4 pieces of another self, there's sacrifices that have to be made. And one gives this and one gives that. But you come into this unhealthy merry-go-round of pleasing each other to hold it intact. Always, always. One piece away from everything falling, everything blowing up. And the children get hurt, the grandchildren get hurt, the next generation is wounded, stories get told, and they're so far from what really was, which was just fear. Fear of letting go, fear that you wasted your life, fear that someone else would have what you always wanted to try and create with them. And if you could just give more, if you could just be your best. But the problem is that when you're alone and you're always alone because you're never true to yourself, you're empty. And there comes a time when, I know for me, I quit filling the void with substances. I quit smoking hemp. It numbed me. I quit drinking first. First it was cigarettes. Cigarettes were really good for numbing me. They were my best friend. I'd had them since I was 12 years old. Yeah, I know. But it was acceptable then. And my parents will say, you know, she didn't smoke at 12, but I was. I was stealing their cigarettes at 12 years old. I was a full-fledged smoker at 14, stealing a pack of cigarettes and then going to the store. You could buy them then. I remember being a child and my mom giving me money and going in and buying cigarettes for them, paying for the gas. You just did. It was acceptable. It was the times. It was the 70s. Anything was acceptable then, so to speak. Okay, back to the Bible. The generations that have come before me have created a vicious merry-go-round. That it didn't matter. It didn't matter if you swore as a child you'd never do it. You put yourself in the same position because you thought if you could make that better, you could heal your family. I know. Or you find a place to compromise that you could be part of, that you see yourself, you could flourish there. You could have everything you wanted, but one, and that's joy, the soul fulfillment. And if you're really, really honest with yourself, there's one way to tell. You split up and you try to destroy the other. And all those years, the other person is sitting there looking at them like, wow, that's really how you felt about me. And I'm here to tell you that that's the way they felt about themselves. All those words, all those, and how do I know? Because there was a time in my life where I did what was done to me. Or what was done to me, I did. So in saying that, the pain I've inflicted. So when it's inflicted upon me, instead of taking it and putting in my basket of pain and adding to it and exponentially compounding it and pouring it into those that I love to try and poison them against the other. I woke up to the pain of that this morning and the understanding that they're hurting. And it's my joy to see past that and to allow them the opportunity to feel, to heal, but most of all, to be real. And when I say feel, I mean F-E-E-L. 30 plus years is a long time to spend with somebody. For one to say this isn't working for me, the other has to compensate somehow. And if they're in pain, and the system that has held it all together so that you didn't have to really look at yourself, You could compromise and be the person that the other person needed you to be. But never that full person, full of joy, because it's inevitable. When one, imagine one piece of pie being gone. It's not a whole pie anymore. So there's an emptiness that's got to be filled. And what is it going to be filled with? Well, it's going to be filled with one of two things: pain or growth. And you know, pain comes first. You got the realization. People lash out. And that is the vicious cycle that has gone on in my family. They lash out. They tear down more than what should have been. They fabricate. And what's not fabricated, they take a piece of truth, maybe that happened 30 years ago, 28 years ago, 31 years ago, and they magnify it into today, all the pains and hurts that they've stuffed down and said they could make peace with as long as this happened. Well, when that didn't happen, then all those came back. It was like a floodgate, like a dam breaking. I don't know if you've ever been privileged, not privileged, but you've ever been able to see the destruction after a dam has broken. I did. I lived in Southport. What it did to BSL was horrendous. It took lakefront property and made it not lakefront property anymore. It was terrible to watch people's house value go down like that. But the dam wasn't built correctly, and the foundation wasn't built on solid ground. It was built on sand. It was built on compacted sand. Well, sand filters water, and eventually water will wash sand out. Well, that's what's happened in my family. The water has washed away the sand, and there's been nothing there to support the structure, and the structure has fallen. And after the structure falls, devastation comes. And it's like a cesspool of nothing but all of the things that have been held back for 30 plus years, whether in death or divorce. The person's missing. They don't feel their pie. They don't have their pieces aren't there anymore. So those pieces are empty, and the other person has sacrificed themselves so long that they forgot the pieces of themselves that they let go of. So then there's what I call the time in between, where you try to do what's right. You try to let the other go. And then because you can't get those pieces filled fast enough, you compromise and go back together and bring it all back together and forgive, thinking that you can make it better, but it doesn't last as long this time. And each time, for me, it's like a series of 10 years. It's like 3, then 10, 10, and now 10 again. And so as I was looking this morning, I'm like, well, what can be done differently? And I hear, don't look at them through your pain. Look at them through theirs. They're experiencing the same thing. Only this time they're experiencing it maybe the way that you have in the past, but you're not experiencing that this time. You just want peace. You want to allow the other person to find their 4 pieces of pie. And you'll come to the terms that you'll let the baby go, the marriage, the children, the grandchildren. And when I say let them go, I mean let them, love them anyway. It's not your place to force their loyalty. It's not your place to try to buy their loyalty, to force traditions, to make them change, to compromise. It's my intention to just allow it, to let each and every individual make their choices for themselves and what is best for them, because that's what I've always wanted for myself. And that is my desire going forth, is that this need to be right, this need to prove someone else wrong, this need to destroy, the destruction's already done. The foundation sank, it cracked, it broke. It's not solid. So to all those that came before me that lived this, I'm sorry you had to go through that. But I know that I believe you signed up for it. You just kind of got lost along the way. Forgot your 4 pieces because you gave them away. When you give pieces of yourself away to make another happy, you hurt yourself. And sooner or later, yourself's going to get really mad, really sad, really afraid that they can't find those pieces, or that they're too old, or that they wasted all this time. It's just time, people. It's just time. If we really understood time, we would know that nothing's lost. Nothing's lost. And when you let them be themselves, and you let them love themselves the way they need to, and you allow them to hate you without hating them, you understand that you've been them. This time it's different though. You're not. So are you going to jump back in that vicious cycle and do to them maybe what they're doing to you? Or to the others around them? But even deeper than that, what they're doing to themselves? No, I'm not doing that. I love me. And I see now what my grandmother went through, my mother. Both grandmothers, really, because one of my grandmothers, my grandfather, died and left her with a son who was broken and caused lots of destruction because he wanted his mama to fix it and she couldn't. And she gave everything she had to try to do that, and it didn't work. And nobody was happy. And then divorced on my other side, where my grandfather went on and had what looked like a beautiful life, and I'm sure that he did. But it cost him his children, because he didn't know how to fit those two together, because his ex-wife was feeding so much of her hurt into his children that it became their hurt, because they just wanted their mama to be okay. And why couldn't they? Committed for 30 years. Why couldn't they stay together? I've looked back through many generations now and seen where this has been a pattern. The only thing I've not seen is two people going their separate ways and coming back together in love and allowing the other to be happy. Because if you've not found happiness in 30 years, you're not going to find it together. I don't believe you are. I just don't, because I think after 30 years, if you could let someone go and treat them the way that you treat them and destroy your children to try to destroy them, then it's not salvageable. It's just not. I don't believe it, not in my life. I'm not willing to go back into the pain just to make everyone else happy. What I am willing to do is this: be the one that lets go of the baby. That's what I'm willing to do. For myself, because I don't want to climb back into that basket of vicious vipers that just bite each other. Because the thing about it is now that that piece is gone, they're going to feel that was something, but it's not going to feel it because they're not going to deal with what needs to be dealt with, and that's themselves. And that's what I'm trying to do here for me. No, that is what I'm doing here for me. I'm choosing me, but in a way that it seems selfish, and it does to other people, because I've been in those shoes. And why the hell can't you just fix it and make everybody happy? But that's not true. You don't. Because after 30 years, if you still have that kind of pain inside, there is no fixing that. Because it's not the other person, it's you. And so there was something that I was missing, my 4 pieces, and I found them. And they're for me, not for everybody. Most people will never understand who I am now. But that's not for me to worry about. I'm supposed to live my life and enjoy it and radiate light, peace, love, joy, and find my happiness. Because without that, do you really truly find happiness, or do you put a Band-Aid on everything? But if you rip the Band-Aid off, the infection's still there. And it festers. And it's got to lash out. So, I'm not a scapegoat. I'm a container to hold. I guess that's how I could look at it. Or a stone. I want to be a stone, not a container. I shall be the stone that the container goes in. The container being the family. And the stone is heavy. And most people take it out because they don't want it in there. And that's okay, but the stone's still there. And that's what I want to build my foundation on, the understanding that it doesn't have to be the same way that it was in the past. I can do it a different way. I can go and find my 4 pieces, which I've already found, most of them. I'd say my pie's full. I just was still holding on to what really destroyed my grandma. God, what if someone else makes them happy? Or what if someone else gets what I worked so hard for all those years to try and make? Well, if you're trying to make a coconut pie and you put chocolate in it, it's not going to be a coconut pie. It's going to be a chocolate coconut pie. You can either get mad and throw the pie out, or you can taste it, and if it's good, then you eat it. And then the next time, when you make your coconut pie, you don't put chocolate in it. You found your missing pieces so you can make your pie. I don't know if this makes sense to anyone else but me. But now I know. I'll let go of the baby before I cut the baby in half. And I'll live my life because I love me. And maybe people won't understand that you know, it's not my place to make them understand anymore. That's what gets me into trouble, because then I get in my head and I try to fix things. I can't fix anyone. And I can't be the piece that holds them up anymore. And I don't want pieces holding me up. That's my place. That's me. That's my job. I'm supposed to put myself back together without infringing on someone else and forcing them to feel like they have to fix me. So I release in love. And love isn't just passive. It's not passive. It's not I love you enough to let you go to find yourself. And that's how I look at everyone now. So we're going to meet people, we're going to see people, we're going to flow, we're going to grow in each person that I come in contact with. What is it that we can gain together by knowing each other without you taking pieces of me or me taking pieces of you and leaving you empty? Does it hurt? Yeah. I'm human. I'm a person. I'm a being that has feelings. It hurts. Just as they hurt. And I'm reminded each time that I want to take my pain and make it greater than theirs. I've inflicted the same kind of pain on someone else. Maybe not him, maybe someone else. But in my life, my marriage of 30-something years, it's been a merry-go-round of inflicting, each of us inflicting pain on each other. And I no longer want that for him or for me. So, I almost didn't make this video because it's bearing myself. It's putting a lot out there. But there's people out there that need to hear. They need to see that it's possible. Don't cut your baby in half. Realize you spent 30 or however many years you spent with them. If you've taken parts of yourself out and replaced it with parts of them and said that you could splice it together, you know that, what is that? It's kind of like that CRISPR DNA. Well, it didn't work for me, and it hasn't worked in my family. And I'm not talking about one generation. I'm talking about going back as far as I can go. I mean, I'm stuck in the 1500s now. And they've been arranged marriages. There was slave marriages. Women that came into a family with money and the husband took it. Men that have come into the family and the wife, she got left with it. Well, she left it, the family left with it, and she was treated as a child. See, marriage is equality, it's equal, it's respect, it's something not to go into lightly. And it's something that you should not compromise yourself and say, oh, I'll bring this to the table and you bring that. I'll bring this to the table and you bring that. No, we've been taught that two halves make a whole. And I'm here to tell you that those two halves sooner or later are going to separate. They're not going to like that other half. When it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing to them, when it's not giving them what they think they deserve, it's not going to be fun. So when you really want to have a healthy relationship, you need to find your wholeness and take that to the table with no mask, and let that person that you're going to give yourself to every day, you're going to wake up to every day, you're going to go to bed to every day, you're going to allow things, you're going to do things, you're going to be things. Make sure that's out of a wholeness and not out of a need or a want or trying to fill your cup because you're missing some of your pieces. So I'm on a journey now, a new journey. I've never done this before. I've never tried it. I've always been fight or flight. I'm not flying. I'm not running. I'm not a victim. I chose this. And that's what I need to remember. I chose this. So in me choosing this, I caused pain in someone else. Was it necessary? I believe it is. For myself. So, with that, I'm going to have grace and mercy for myself and for all those around me. And I'm going on my path, my journey to learn who to incorporate my 4 pieces. I know what they are and I have them. Now it's to mesh them all together with me and to find a way moving forward that doesn't hurt. And all of my getting, I want to get understanding to know that I can do anything I want. I don't have rules and regulations stopping me. They're man's rules. My heart leads me. My heart and mind and soul all linked together and consistency and compassion and wholeness leads me, with the understanding that life is meant to be lived, and lessons can be painful. But if we just do what everybody else has done, nothing ever changes. I'm tired of seeing this hate, this pain, this bitterness, this meanness, this fear of finding out who you really are is really what it is. Fear of being alone, fear of standing on one's own 2 feet, fear of failure, fear of not, it's fear of abandonment, of not being loved. I choose love. I choose me. And honestly, I choose you because I see you. You're me, and you're hurting, and you deserve the right to find out who you are. So those are lights, all those little things over my head. They're recessed lights. Wow, we have so many. I guess because we needed a lot of light. Well, this is what I have for you today. This is what I have for me. It's Easter Sunday for all those that you choose to celebrate Easter. Enjoy your time with your family. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do today, but whatever I do today, I'm going to enjoy myself. I love you. I love me. Until we talk again. Much love.